Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve the first million? And today we're connecting with United States, and we have Shauna, the tax goddess. So Shauna, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend entrepreneurs out there to make the first million?
Love it. Step number 1, you have to have a team. Now, of course, everyone talks about the team in the office. So your administrative assistant, your customer care, your salespeople, whatever it is. Make sure you're hiring that team with the strengths you do not have. But I also want you to be looking at the team that is supporting you as the entrepreneur. So who is your business coach? Who is your raw person, right? The person that no matter what stupid idea you have is absolutely in love with it and thinks that it's going to be amazing. And of course, making sure that you have enough strength, energy, health, vitality to be a good leader, because you can't have a team without being a good leader. So definitely step number 1.
I love it.
Thank you. Me too. All the good. Step number 2, systems and processes, right? If you cannot hand over whatever work it is you're doing to somebody else, you can't scale, you can't expand, you won't ever get a chance to sleep because you will be moving so quickly and trying to stay awake. So that doesn't work. Step number 3, you better have some passion for what you're doing. If you hate what you're doing, can you get to $1 million? Yes. Are you going to enjoy your life at all? No. So if you don't love it, and if you are not willing to blood, sweat, and tears 18 hours a day for the first year, maybe not the choice you want to make to be an entrepreneur. So step number 3. Step number 4, absolutely, you must take care of your own health and energy. So I know that we're all tempted to work straight through it, not sleep, not exercise, especially the young ones, right? Speaking specifically to my 20-year-old entrepreneurs out there, who needs sleep? I can go for 3 days straight. You can, but you're likely to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. And step number 5, when you're looking at what you need to focus on, right? Pick your top 3. I know there's 18 million things to do every day, but you pick your 3,
Absolutely.
We call them big rocks. You write them down on a piece of paper at the end of the previous day, and you don't do anything other than your 3 big rocks when you first come in the next morning.
Wow, I love your 5 steps. I think that they are amazing. Now, let's talk about this tax goddess. I'm dying to know a lot of it. Basically, let's talk about, because there is a mixed conception sometimes, yeah, that regarding tax, yeah. So, but let's face it, there is legally, right? If you don't pay tax, this is illegal. However,
I was going to say, you better be legally doing whatever you're doing. That's important.
However, there are a lot of legal ways to save a lot of taxes. And I think that people, Shauna, sometimes they go in the wrong path for the wrong reason. Yeah, it's just about lack of knowledge that they try to make a shortcut. They don't pay this tax because of this, because of that, and after you can be in big trouble. I don't know in United States, but in UK, you can be in big trouble if you don't pay your taxes. Yeah, they can even close your company.
Well, they close your company, throw you in jail, and throw away the
keys. Prison,
if you do it bad enough. Yeah, this is bad stuff. So
you hide, yeah. So tell us, why when it comes to tax, it's a topic that all the entrepreneurs are finding that this is the last thing that they have to do, where actually, if you are turning over $1 million plus, you should look into this deeply, because there is a lot of creative way that you can save tax effectively and legally. So tell us, educate us a little bit more, because this is something that people are even scared to talk about. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and I'd like to start with the point of being scared. Okay. So you can be scared, but go find help. So we talked a little bit earlier about finding your team. Okay. Now, I'm talking only about US taxes. So let me be very clear there. I would love to say I'm a tax goddess for the whole planet, but unfortunately, only for the US. Okay. So one of the biggest things you said, entrepreneurs, they can wait, they can go at $1 million. You need to be looking at this thing. I'm actually a big fan of starting at the beginning. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Now, yeah, certainly you're not going to be doing a huge amount of tax planning because you haven't made any money yet. Okay. But if you have an idea of which direction you're heading, right? So is this going to be a small lifestyle business? You're making $1 million, maybe you're taking home 250, you've got one secretary, you're happy, right? Like you're just running your business, you're making money. If your plan, yeah, exactly. It's a lifestyle business, right? You're not working 80 hours a week, you're working 30, you're making good money, you're happy, right? Everything's fine. The other way to do it, of course, is to go the other end. You are going to be the next Alex Hermosi, the next Dan Cardone, right? Like we're Grant Cardone. You're going to be someone huge, okay? And that is your plan. Either direction, where you start can make massive differences as to where you end up. So for example, a lot of people will start their businesses without an entity. So no LLC, no partnership, no S Corp, all US tax structures. You can do that, but as soon as your profit is more than about 50,000, the IRS will be riding you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You will have one of the highest tax brackets in the country. Here in the US, it's 63% if you don't structure it at the beginning. And for most people, when they're getting into business, the point is to make more than $50,000 in your business, right? So starting with the proper entity structure, determining whether you're going to sell your business down the road, or if you're going to build this and hold on to it, maybe pass it on to your children, all of the entity structuring, which type of entity you use, that's step one. Now, of course, if you're hearing this broadcast right now and you're already at step 30, right? You're already making 10 million. And you haven't done any tax strategy, one of the biggest questions that we get is, Shauna, listen, I can see all of your qualifications here, CPA, master's in tax, certified tax strategist, all of these things. Yeah, I'm in the top 1% in the country for tax strategy. There are also tax preparers, right? Your CPAs, your regular standard CPAs that take your information, put it in the return, and they come back to you and say, this is how much you owe.
This is the number.
This is the number. And you can do that.
That doesn't work for me, yeah? That doesn't work for me.
Exactly.
That doesn't work for me. I need to know, this is how we talk with our accountant, and we want to find ways how we can, like you share, structure the things to make the most out of it. Yeah. And there is a lot of information that honestly I don't have a clue. I don't even have a clue that existed.
Yep.
And we do get a lot of help regarding that topic. So because again, because I've seen people, gone in the wrong track for the wrong reason, and they don't even need it to. So why are you gonna get in trouble for nothing if there are legal ways to achieve the same thing that you're trying to achieve? And just because of lack of knowledge, just because don't hire someone that have the expertise, people end up in big trouble. I seen with my eyes, and sometimes I don't understand why people behave like that. But certainly there are, at least in United Kingdom, there are some cases that this has happened. I don't know in United States. So what message do you have for those entrepreneurs that they trying to gamble, because I think this is gamble with your tax, on trying to make some cuts where having actually a legal way to do, and people are not aware of the impact that this can have in the business and in the life. And tell us what solutions are possible, because I think people, they always think about this, that is too good to be true. Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about all this.
Absolutely. So first things first, if you take shortcuts, the government will not be happy. And I think that holds true whether you're in the UK, in the States, and doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You take shortcuts, the government is not happy with you. Okay.
And they will come and collect.
Yes, they will. You better be ready to move out of the country. And
Oh my God, you have to
non-extradition
disappear. I don't know.
country.
I don't know in United States, but in UK they find you wherever you are. That's like an octopus. They will find you wherever you are in UK.
Of course.
They are very for that they find you.
And so we use something called the aggression scale, 0 to 10. 0 meaning the government will never call you never ever. Okay, but that means you're leaving money on the table, right? You're not doing anything, basically. A 10 means we're all going to jail. So when you talk about, how many strategies, how aggressive do you need to be? Because really the goal for most entrepreneurs is to get their tax rate to 0. Right? I want to keep my money. I want to reinvest in my business. I want to hire new staff, whatever it is. Okay. I want my tax rate to be 0 because for most entrepreneurs, they feel like they can do a better job than the government can with their money. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if your tax bill is $20,000, you may need a level 1 strategy. Okay. If your tax bill is $500 billion, you may need a level 8. Not a 10, because we're not going to jail, right? We're not doing shady stuff like a 9. We're not doing shady stuff, hoping we don't get caught. You're doing an 8. You're taking every strategy, everything you can apply to minimize your tax.
By the law, yeah.
By the law, 100% legal, right? And I think that's one of the big differences when you're talking to, there are many companies out there that claim they are tax mitigation specialists or tax strategists, right? It's one of the big differences of working with somebody who is both a CPA, right, qualified by the government CPA, and a tax strategist, CTS. There are only 15 certified tax strategists in the entire US.
Wow.
And I'm one of them. Right.
Really? Oh my God, that's amazing. Congratulations. I can tell that you're really, really good at what you do. Yeah, I can tell that. I can see your energy.
I was going to say Forbes agrees.
Yeah. I can see your Forbes article. Tell us about your article in Forbes. Yeah, how you end up in Forbes?
Well, very long story short, nobody wants to pay tax. Amazing.
Very popular topic, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great topic. And so they ask the same questions you're asking. How do we legally reduce taxes, right? Because nobody wants to go to jail. Nobody wants to get the government upset. That's not the plan, right? But, at this point, like clients that work with a certified tax strategist, our average tax rate for our clients is 6.92%, considering the high, excuse me, I'm getting all choked up, considering the highest is 63%. It's a massive drop. So, one of the things I always like to tell people is, listen, if you're in the US, and I know obviously our audience is worldwide, if you're in the US and you're looking for strategies, the book that I wrote last year, it's actually called The 6% Life.
Oh, wow.
This book covers 7 legal loopholes that you can use in the US. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, we have a whole thing around the 6% life because who wants to pay more tax than they have to? So, yeah.
But where can we find this book? Where? In Amazon? What is it?
Amazon, baby, Amazon.
Show us the cover again. Yeah.
Yeah, here, absolutely. The 6% life.
Look,
you get it right there.
6% life. Yeah. Tax goals. I like these tax goals. This is amazing. Well done.
Works out really well.
Now,
go.
Shauna, let's talk about this because there is the people become wealthy, and that's the reason why they are wealthy is because they do take very seriously these tax strategies, these tax methodologies that they have to follow. And it's not about how much money you make, it's how much money you can keep. However, we find that the less wealthy are the people, less educated they are in what is possible for them. And we're talking about the masses. We're talking about these entrepreneurs that want to go from 0 to 1, that is making the first million.
Just starting. Yeah.
They're just starting, and without the right foundation, very quickly they can be for the wrong reasons, because they tick the wrong box or or because
Listen to the wrong person.
lack
We hear
of
that a
knowledge,
lot.
give it to the wrong person. Yeah, I've been there, done it. Yeah, I have my first time that the report for my accounts came. It was a guy exactly like this. He saw everything, he processed everything, and he told me, "This is the number." I'm like, man, this number is really high. Do you
We have
look
to do
into what can be done here, or you just
Yeah.
put everything and process, and you don't care about me, and you give me this huge number?
Yeah.
And luckily, then that day, it was when I realized that, wow, we have to take this seriously, because if and again, it's the difference, because someone that take out the numbers and process and just throw
Is
it around,
very
that you have to
different than
pay
a
is completely different
strategist.
game. That you have a strategy, someone that sit with you and say, hey, this is your tax bill. Let me ask you a question about your business. Let me ask you a question about this, and let me have a look within the legal frame what actually can be done for you to save some money. More than that, to have a structure. Yeah. So I've been in both sides. I've been in the side that somebody just process my account and give me a huge number that I'm like, this is a lot.
I don't like it.
A lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And to the point, I said, what's the point of running this business if everything goes there? And but on the other side, I'm telling you, that happened 17 years ago. And this is when I was aware that we need more, that actually that someone that process and give us a number. We need actually an advisor, like a coach, like a mentor. That I think this thing that you're talking about, structure. When I started my first business, I didn't have any structure. Yeah, actually, I just, the business was turnover, and I knew that at the end we had to fight the accounts, and a number comes to pay the tax.
Yeah.
But after I have this huge number, sometimes the worst day of your life is the best day of your life. After I have this, I realized, like, hold on, I had to review. So I said to the person, listen, thank you for the job that you have done. Let me pay you, but I'm gonna find someone that I can talk to and to see, and it was amazing. And I think that you start to learn about structures, yeah, how to have the right structure. For example, you talk about a structure, something that nobody think about it. Everybody start the company, could be in UK we call it limited company, or and then you start to grow, and because the structure is not right from the beginning,
Not the proper fit.
you can end up in a huge tax bracket that actually is slowing you to grow even faster.
Yeah.
So tell us in terms of, but we want to the masses. What advice, Shauna, do you have to the masses, to the people that are going from 0 to 1 or 0 to 5 or 0 to 10 million?
Yeah.
That what practical advice do you have for those entrepreneurs in the United States?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, as both you and I are saying, is find the right specialist, right? So I absolutely believe that you need somebody to process the tax return, okay? But the strategist comes in before the end of the year is over. So, if the year goes from January through December, and at the end of December is when the accounts close, right? That's the end of the year. Any strategy, any moves, anything you're going to do needs to happen before
Absolutely.
December 31st. So if you go in February, March, April, May, whenever, and you go to your processor, your CPA who's filing the return, and say, okay, what can you do for me? Even if they knew something, they really can't, right? The year's over.
Exactly.
So, you've got to be if you have not yet already, start interviewing, okay? And look at, I do not take tax advice from GPT, from OpenAI or Google AI, but you can ask it, what are questions that a tax strategist would be able to answer? And what are those answers versus a tax preparer, somebody who's just processing the return, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it should give you 3 or 4 questions with answers, right? That you can now ask as you're interviewing. You can ask people and say, one of my personal favorites, real estate is a big thing here in the States, right? Investing,
Well,
selling,
UK
buying,
also,
flipping.
yeah.
So one of the best questions here in the US is, what is a cost segregation study? And if you are talking to a strategist that says they're an expert in real estate and they cannot answer that question without kind of getting a blank, I don't know, I'm going to have to pull that up on Google. You need to go find somebody else. Like, go find somebody else, because they're not a specialist. And so I would look at, what industry are you in? You know, there's different specialists for healthcare professionals versus real estate versus manufacturing, construction. There's different specialists in all those areas. Ask around. Ask in your associations. You know, is there a strategist that people like that know our industry? Anybody, right? Start asking questions. So
yeah, and tell us a little bit about trust. I don't know if you guys have trust there in
we
United
do.
States. We definitely have them in UK,
Oh
and
yeah.
And a lot of people to extend the wealth. Yeah, they create trust. So
Absolutely.
this is a process that is expensive. Anybody can do it. What are the benefits of having a trust compared with the normal company? Why people set up trust, and can you actually save taxes legally with this structure? Depends, yeah.
Depends, right? It depends. So is the answer in tax. So in the US, trusts, there's really two different versions of trusts. Okay. I mean, there's lots of different names for them, but they really boil down to two different versions. One of them is called a revocable trust, which is you put assets in and they're still in your name. You still control them. You can take them out or put them in or do whatever you want, right? It's revocable at any time. That will not save you any taxes at all.
It's same like another one.
Because you still control it, right?
Absolutely.
Now, if it's an irrevocable trust, right? So you put the assets in and now they're not yours anymore. Generally, that will save you taxes. And the question is, how much in taxes will it save you? Because the individual rates, as I said, the highest is 63. The highest on the trust side is 47. So there is some, but it's
but
a
not
lot
that
more
much,
complex. Right. It's a lot more complex. It depends on how you use them. Are you using life insurance combined with trusts, real estate combined with trusts, stocks combined with trusts? You know, what kinds of assets do you have? So again, it goes back to the team. You may need your CPA, you know, your tax processor. You may need your tax strategist. You also may need a trust and estate attorney. So your team becomes this group of professionals, almost like having a board of advisors for you as a business owner, right? So, yeah.
So then, what are the entrepreneurs out there? What message do you have for them? There are a lot of people out there that they run the business, they're doing the gazillion things, and then they only care about the accounts, the month that they have to file, and they care about the tax. Because that's happened to me, yeah, the beginning, and I was that kind of guy that said, "Okay, I'm running the business. I'm worried about myself. I'm worried about this, worried about that," and then wow, you need to fight this thing, and you get a surprise that you have to definitely have to work in something that you didn't thought that you had to work. So tell us a little bit more how literally this structure, yeah, depend obviously of the nature of the business. If there is a tech company, if there is a retail, if there is I don't know, a direct to consumer, depends of the structure of the company. They can lead to more.
It's okay. Everyone yawns when they're talking taxes. It's okay. I understand. It's all good.
So when it comes to that, people, I don't think that they take seriously, and they don't have an idea how much can be they come to massive savings when you have the right structure. Especially, you know, 1 out of 5 people that come to this broadcast, they are property entrepreneurs. The other ones are tech entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yep.
And because 5 said to my first million, so somehow in this broadcast end up a lot of property entrepreneurs from United States, most of them also tech entrepreneurs from United States also. So What message do you have for them? Like, why, how really having the right structure, and having the right plan. Some of these companies want to go from national to international and things like that. So it become more complicated because maybe they need to pay tax twice. I think they need to pay
2, 3, 4, depending on where they go and what they're doing.
Really?
Oh,
Tell us about, is it possible to pay tax twice if you have the wrong structure?
Absolutely. 100%. Now, you can also minimize tax, you can increase tax. I think, let me back up, because I think your bigger picture question here is, right? And it goes back to when you first start versus you've hit your first million versus you've hit 5 million, 10 million, 50 million, 100
And
million.
now you're going
right?
internationally.
And now you're going internationally. To me, the baseline of your question is, when do I need to do whatever it is I need to do? Okay. So at the very beginning, you try to find your team. Okay. To me, that is step one. Find your team. Find your CPA, your tax preparer, find your tax strategist, find your attorney, right? Find your team. Okay. Then step two, go make money. Okay. Because a good team, okay, so assuming these people you found are good and they're really truly interested in you, they're fiduciary for you, okay, part of their job is to check in with you at least once a quarter. So what's going on? Are you making $1 million? Are you making 10,000 because you had a great idea but you can't sell it, right? What's happening? And a lot of people will put those things in the opposite order. They'll go make money first and then try to clean it up afterwards.
Most of the people that I know.
And that's where the problems come in.
Yeah.
That's where the problems come in. Because unfortunately, once something is set, it's set.
If you span a big mess, if you have a small mess, even when you're starting, even if you fix, even for me, when I was trying to span my first company, at some point I was thinking this. I was like, look, I have a very small mess here. If I span, what I'm going to span is a big mess. So
you nailed it. Yeah.
So the structure, when it comes to the finance, is really, really important. Before on the right plan. So tell us a little bit, few strategies for people that are going from 0 to 1 or 0 to 5 or 0 to 10. What are the structures that you recommend, and why, and what are, and how easy or difficult it is to implement those structures?
Absolutely. So let's back up, because there's structures and there's strategies. So from a structure standpoint, unless you know that you're know for a fact that you're going to make millions, okay, generally everybody starts off with what's called an LLC. So very similar, sounds like to the UK, a limited liability company. Okay, it's the cheapest, smallest, most flexible. You don't really need a lawyer, right? It's a good basic place to start. Okay. Now, when we talk about strategies at the beginning, okay, your job as an entrepreneur from a tax perspective is to make yourself look poor. You have no money, there's no profit in the company. Okay, now it's a double-edged sword, because if there's no money and no profit, no bank is going to lend you money. So it's kind of a double-edged sword here.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Oh, yeah. So, but the reason why you make yourself look poor is because the money you make, you get to keep, right? If you're poor, if you didn't make a profit, the government has nothing to tax. So putting your kids on payroll, you can do that. Renting your home from yourself for business events, you can do that. Both of those are completely tax-free. So you're moving money to the family, but you're not paying tax, they're not paying tax, nobody's paying tax, okay? Writing off your dogs as a security force, okay? If you have things at your house that you need to protect, client files, equipment,
that's a good one, yeah. I didn't even hear about this one, and I hear a lot of things. It doesn't matter. My God, you're brilliant, yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest thing in the US that most business owners just don't realize, and it goes back to an earlier comment, you said people are scared, they're frightened of taxes, and they're frightened. The IRS is scary. Yeah, and the IRS
Everybody's
is scary.
scared. People don't even want to open the conversation. People don't want to to do
Dig-
this,
they're
you
just
know, yeah.
digging their head in
Even
the
for the
sand.
podcast,
Yeah.
tax, no, don't come to my podcast. You know what I mean?
Well, I promise
However,
I'll make it interesting. I'll have a good bets. So
yeah,
I think from that standpoint, within the IRS or within the US for the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, there are really three key words on what you need to look at as a business owner, okay, to be able to take a deduction, to be able to get a write-off. Okay. Those three words are ordinary, necessary, and reasonable. Okay. So I always like to use my co-host here as an example. So
yes,
ordinary, yes, ordinary, necessary, and reasonable. So you are on camera all day. Okay. So you need to have lighting, you need to have good audio, you need to have a desk at the right height for the camera to sit on. You know, you might have big equipment and lamps, that kind of
my
thing.
computer, they're really expensive, by the way. The computers with the
The
processors.
computers, of course. So for you, these are all ordinary, necessary, and reasonable for you to be able to run your business, right? For you to do what you do, you have to have these things, okay? For me, as a strategist, I mean, it's nice if I look good. It's good if I have good lighting, right? But it's not necessary. I could have a lower camera quality, right? I could have not such good lighting. I could have an okay microphone. People could still understand me and could still do what I tell them to do as a strategist, right? So for me, extra lighting and cameras and microphones and all these things may not be deductible because
Unless they have a podcast with me.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Because we need you with good lighting and we sound like exactly like you sounded. Yeah.
You're too sweet. Thank you. So I always like to use those examples because different people's jobs, different businesses, what you do will have different needs and requirements, right? And so as you, to our entrepreneurs out there, as you are thinking about your own business, how can you tell a story about whatever it is you're trying to write off? You know, are you trying to buy a new iPhone? Are you trying to buy a Rolex? Like what are you trying to buy?
Even the cars, you guys that drive a lot in US, right?
Oh,
I think that you can lease the car and you can be driving a brand new car from the year all the time. Entrepreneurs, they just buy a car with their own money that they use it for work and it loses value all the time because it gets depreciated, and they don't have to do that because, you know, they, you can, I mean, you tell us, is it every single business owner in US can actually lease the car for work, or I'm taking it to a next level?
Absolutely. Yeah. And so listen,
and you can write off everything, right?
If it's 100% for business
you,
use.
you can write off the gas, or how this is working?
Yeah, if it's 100% for business use, then yes, you can write off everything. And where people get into trouble is they say, okay, no problem. I'm going to lease that car. I'm going to write off 100%, but I'm taking my kids to soccer practice and I'm taking my husband out for a dinner date and I took the family to the movies.
That doesn't work.
Doesn't work. So you need to be very careful.
They will find out.
Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, yeah, nobody
they put the
drives
driver
car
license
100%.
number and they know exactly where you move, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
So we would assume a proportion the same way that, you know, using the homes for
the home office, yeah.
And I think when it comes to tax, you know, it's about don't take it to the extreme, yeah? It has to, like you say, it has to be
ordinary, necessary, and reasonable. Yep.
Reasonable, yeah.
100%.
That's I think the
key.
biggest thing. But people, just for lack of knowledge, even that, remember, look at this, how much money you waste if because people don't have this. A lot of entrepreneurs don't have this information, yeah. And now they are buying the car, yeah, and they are, even my own cousin, he have a refurbishing company, and I know that he has 2 cars that he uses for work, and he's not putting. I asked him the other day, are you writing off anything? I said, no, I use the cars, you know, I bought them with my money and I take it for work. I said, look, you should seek advice, because I think that you can, you know. So people, because of lack of knowledge, they buy the cars, which it costs them money. Those cars got devaluated because you're using them for the business all the time.
Of course.
People they don't know that they can lease it a brand new car
Yeah.
that will improve your work. You're gonna work more comfortable and everything. And this is a legal way because the system is actually designed for you to be comfortable to make money.
I was going to say,
The
if you
government
make more money, the government supposedly makes
is
more
happy.
money. So yeah,
Yeah.
they want you to make more money. Of course.
Absolutely, yeah, because you create jobs, so they're not gonna be an obstacle for you. However, you have to people need to seek, like I said, an advisor and a consultant that put them in the right path. Because we're putting the sample of the car because you guys drive a lot there in US and up and down all the time, yeah. So this is something that is a big of a head in my opinion there. And also but also to keep a positive conversation. Yeah, I think that nobody want to talk about tax, and people, entrepreneurs get scared, and people don't want to say, people don't even want to go and see you. Yeah, because they think, oh my God, I'm going to see this person and she's gonna think that I'm dodgy, that I don't want to pay, but I really want to pay, but I don't want to pay less. There is a lot of negative connotation about all this, and the truth is that people don't understand that it's totally legal, and there are legal ways for entrepreneurs to save taxes. And we have to embrace this rather than make this like a taboo. I don't want to talk about, I don't want to do things, because if you don't want to talk about, you are scared or whatever, guess what? You're going to end up paying a lot that maybe you don't even have to pay. And this is general connotation in the entrepreneurial world that only the wealthy, the really wealthy people, that the only people that I know that they embrace this conversation, that they will listen in this podcast and we say, oh, I love these guys, you know what they're talking about. They're amazing. They're really wealthy. They're going to be so fired up with this podcast. But the normal people will be like, well,
do you know how they got wealthy?
Huh?
You know how they got wealthy?
Yeah, probably.
Not paying tax, you don't have to pay, right?
Exactly.
So
that's one of the biggest vehicles. That's why you see
taxes in the US, taxes are the number one, the biggest expense in the household. More than your house, more than your car, more than food, more than kids, more than school. Taxes are the biggest expense. So if you want to become wealthy, you better start talking taxes. And you better start planning. Or you can stay poor.
Absolutely. That's what I'm telling you. You know, only the wealthy people that fired up and they love this conversation, and the other people, the message that we have for them is to open the conversation, to have a look at it. There is always something that and remember, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And
100%.
the wealthy people, they know this very well. They have like you said, teams that they constantly work with them, design instruction, design strategies, design a business model. Sometimes, could be as simple like, hey, you know what, I want to sell this product, and maybe you can take, hold on, listen, rather than selling online or whatever, because you're gonna make more money, you're gonna make the same money, but however, there is this tax bracket that will save you. Only some small advice like that, it can make a huge difference, especially if you're in a big company. And so what message do you have for people that want to have the tax conversation for the last thing, and people are have this negative thing that, well, I don't even want people to find out that I'm going to see Shauna, because I don't want people to think that I'm dodgy, that I don't want to pay tax, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And this is all this negative connotation that is out there, and this is the majority of the people think like this. And on the other hand, you have the really very, very wealthy, where they're on the other side of the fence, like, yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's go.
I'm coming. Tell me more,
Well, and so I think there's two different ways here, because you're right. I've certainly had people, call me and say, listen, I'm interested, but I don't feel right I don't feel good about not paying my fair share. That's kind of the phrasing we hear here. Now, there's two responses to that. Okay. When you save taxes, it is up to you as the individual what you do with that money. Okay. We have had some people where we've saved that tax money and the entire amount we saved went to charity. Their charity, their choice. Okay. So you don't have to take the money and spend it on you or spend it on your family. Okay?
Yeah, you can make an impact in your
could
community.
Donate to charity. You could build a library. You could
can reinvest it in your business, in marketing, for example.
100%. Marketing, new jobs.
That would be amazing.
So, I've always looked at it and I said, listen, if the government did not want you to do this, the rules wouldn't be public. I mean, you can go read them right now. Go to Google and say, how do I deduct my car? And the IRS will give you in writing, this is how you do it, step by step by step. So if it was illegal, if it was wrong, if it was bad, right, the government wouldn't tell you how to do something bad.
Publicly.
Okay? Publicly. Yeah, that's a whole nother matter, politics, But yeah, I mean, if you feel, because I've had 2 clients do that, where they said, listen, I like the tax strategy. I'm only going to keep as much. So for example, our average fee for a business owner starts around $65,000 to create a strategy. Okay. So I've had business owners that have said, listen, I want to do the strategy because I want to create a nonprofit. That's my goal in life, is to create this charity. So I'm going to give you the 65. You're going to write a tax plan. I'm going to take back the 65 that you saved me, but every other penny forever moving forward is going into charity. Okay. Great.
Amazing.
Right? The only person that can decide that money is bad or scary is you. So to me, that's an entrepreneurial mental mindset. If you think money is scary, it will be scary the rest of your life and it will run away from you forever. If you walk towards it to learn and to educate, it will come to you. So, yeah.
And look, if you running a business, this I can tell you for sure. If you can save money in tax and then you can put this money to marketing, you're going to have a wonderful life and a wonderful business. Because at the end of the day, the government wants you to grow your business so you can employ more people. Those people they probably getting salary. Those salaries are they're getting taxed for it. So everybody's happy.
Everybody wins. So
everybody wins. Yeah. So lately, Shauna, if somebody is inspired for what we're talking about and they would like to contact you, they would like to know more about it, how people can find you, how the process works?
For sure. So we are pretty easy to find. I have a staff of about 105. If you go to taxgoddess.com, that's us. You'll find us pretty easy from that standpoint. The process always starts with a telephone call. So tell us, who are you? What do you do? What are your goals? Do you want to form a charity or do you want to put kids through college? What are you trying to do? We gather some data and determine how much we can save using tax strategies for your specific set of circumstances, because they're very different between Harry versus Shauna versus Bob, right? They're very different. So, and then we go from there. So
thank you so much for this broadcast. I think that I think that the most important thing is educate people out there, and remove this scary connotation that we all have about tax, because the truth is that if you don't have your right strategy in place, your business can suffer, and it's wild out there. And guess what? Your competitors, they do have tax advisors.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So this is what it is. You are in business, so you have to look after know how much money you make, how much money can you actually keep. So thank you so much, and show us your book again, and where can we find it? So in Amazon.
Super easy. Amazon.
6% live tax goddess. Amazing.
Got it. All the good bets. I hope it can help people. I wrote the book in a way that will teach you the strategy, teach you the pitfalls, what not to do, And of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, taxgoddess.com.
Thank you so much. And for you, everyone listening, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like Shauna break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Bye.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.